Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to a new episode of Ask Huda. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen, wa la udwana illa ala al-zalimin, was salatu was salamu ala sayyidil awwaleen wal akhirin, nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. And brothers and sisters, as usual, I'd like to remind you with our contact informations in the beginning, with the phone numbers beginning with the area code 002-0238-555-248 or 249, and the email address is ask@huda.tv. There's also our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/msalahofficial. You may start ringing in as soon as you like, inshallah. I just have a couple of questions, one from Sister Hanan from Iraq, and Zachary also from Iraq. Sister Hanan said, what is the proper hijab? Very great question. What is the proper hijab? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ahzab, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. Then he counted إِلَّا لِبُعُولَتِهِنَّ, or counted the maharim. The word zina is adornment or purification. So the woman may be dressed up from head to toe, but the clothes themselves are zina. Or she's wearing a makeup along with the hijab, or wearing a perfume that attracts people to look at the source of the fragrance along with the hijab. That's why we have a hadith which is collected by Imam Muslim, may Allah have mercy on him, in which the Prophet ﷺ said, صِنْفَانِ مِنْ أَهْلِ النَّارِ لَمْ أَرَهُمَا. There are two types of people who will be from amongst the dwellers of fire. I haven't seen them yet. So this is a prophecy pertaining something to come in the future. It was not showing at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. He mentioned the first type of people, women, who are نساء كاسيات عاريات مائلات مميلات رؤوسهن كأسنمة البخت لا يدخلن الجنة ولا يجدن ريحها. Wallahi, this is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. I just want everybody to imagine, as we're cooking or we're next to the stove, that we cannot go near the fire because it's very hot. Or if you're served hot tea or hot drink or hot soup, it burns. The hot food or the very hot drink burn. What about if the person is thrown in the middle of fire? And the fire of the entire world is not even like a spark of the fire of the hereafter. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. The fire of the entire world is one part of 70 parts of the fire which Allah has prepared for the criminals, the disbelievers, the rebellious, and the sinners on the Day of Judgment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us against it. May Allah give us salvation on the Day of Judgment, so that we don't even come across the fire of hell. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. We cannot tolerate it, not even for a second. Not even for a second. We know that Allah is Ghafurur Rahim. He is the oft-forgiving. He is the most merciful. But He is also severe in torment. And life is a test. Do's and do not do's, merely to test us. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. In order to test you, which one of you is best indeed. So with the first category whom the Prophet ﷺ warned us against, he said, women who will be kasiyat, yani they will be dressed up, عاريات, yet they will be naked. How can you compromise? يعني كاسيات, dressed up, yet they're naked. We can tell. We see this all over. Women who dressed up in very tight dresses, or dresses showing more than they cover, or see-through clothes, or tight pants, jeans, blouses, dresses, whatever, right? So this is the meaning of kasiyat, yet they are ariyat, naked. They attract people to look at their beauty. Okay. Ma'ilatun mumilat, the way they walk, the way they talk, in order to attract people. And people get attracted to look at them. This happens deliberately. That's why there is a very high heel, and there is attractive perfumes. Okay, while the Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith, it's a major sin for a woman to wear perfume and to walk outside, even if she's going to pray. He considered this equivalent to zina. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. رؤوسهن كأسنمة البخت. They will do their hair in a way that it would look like the hump of a camel. And we see that. Women, they do their hairstyle in a way exactly meeting the description of the dwellers of fire, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, of these women. Why? To fulfill the prophecy of the Prophet ﷺ. Don't they fear Allah? Don't they fear the Day of Judgment? It doesn't seem so. لا يدخلن الجنة ولا يجدن ريحها. They shall not enter paradise, nor shall they find its fragrance. And its fragrance, or arf, could be found from the distance of 70 years. Too bad. So the description of the proper hijab, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِذَا سَأَلْتُمُهُنَّ مَتَاعًا فَاسْأَلُوهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ, and also said that يَا أَيُّهَا النَّبِيُّ قُلْ لِأَزْوَاجِكَ وَبَنَاتِكَ وَنِسَاءِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ يُدْنِينَ عَلَيْهِنَّ مِنْ جَلَابِيبِهِنَّ ذَلِكَ أَدْنَى أَنْ يُعْرَفْنَ فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ. The description of the proper hijab is as follows: to cover the entire body, with a khilaf, difference of opinions, pertaining to the face only and the hands for women. And that has been discussed over and over. Now, covering the entire body. 2, the clothes themselves shouldn't be a source of zina or attraction. I was driving once and I saw a window showing women clothes. And subhanallah, I saw the writing of a verse of the Quran against the chest part of the aba'a of a woman in a beautiful calligraphy. So I got off the car, I went to the shop owner and I told him that this is not proper. He said, why? This is dhikr. I said, I know, but this is number one zina. Yani you want me to gaze at it, to stare at it so that I can read it. Where at? At the chest of a woman who's not lawful to me to look at her. And number 2, it's glitter, it's a zina. Number 3, every person, every human being has a need to answer the call of nature, to go to the bathroom. You walk in the bathroom with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala displayed. Okay. Number 3, it shouldn't be see-through, or otherwise this is exactly kasiyat and ariyat. It shouldn't be tight, revealing the details of the body, and you know how tempting are the tight clothes, sometimes even worse than if a woman is not wearing anything. And it shouldn't be a clothes or an outfit looks like the outfit of men. A woman who dresses up like a man is cursed, and a man who dresses up like a woman is cursed. And it shouldn't be thiyabu shuhra, like to wear something that does not common in your locality, so that when you walk out wearing it, everybody will look at you, even though it's a hijab. But once again, it's a source of attraction. It shouldn't be perfume or fragrance. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sister Abdul Rahim from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. I have 2 questions.
Naam.
The first one, I want to know, when someone's divorced, and we know in Islam that there's no alimony and stuff like that for the for the woman. But I want to know if there's children involved. She gets a certain amount that's for the children to raise them. And isn't there also a certain amount that should be given for the woman as sustenance or housing? And I want to know if the Sharia says something and then the court says something and you're living in a Muslim country, how do you go about arranging all that?
Okay.
Because I know someone she's having.
Thank you, Sister Abdul Rahim. Very important question. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran pertaining the fund or the amount of money which a divorcee should get, especially if she is in the iddah period. وَمَتِّعُوهُنَّ عَلَى الْمُوسِعِ قَدَرُهُ وَعَلَى الْمُقْتِرِ قَدَرُهُ مَتَاعًا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. So there is a support, a financial support that is due for the woman during her iddah, especially الطلاق الرجعي in the case of revocable divorce. And if she is pregnant or if she is breastfeeding, then the support will be for her and for the infant, the baby, or for the children as well. Child support, as long as she's looking after them. والوالدات يرضعن أولادهن حولين كاملين لمن أراد أن يتم الرضاعة وعلى المولود له رزقهن وكسوتهن بالمعروف. It is a duty of the man to support the woman even if he divorces her, whom one day she was his wife, because now she is bearing his child, as long as she is pregnant and until she delivers her baby. Then afterward, during the pregnancy and looking after the child, as long as she is having the custody in agreement. فإن تعاسرتم فسترضع له أخرى. The first ayah was in Surah Al-Baqarah, now in Surah Al-Talaq. In just to complete the picture and the meaning of the mut'a part, or giving a fund or support to the wife after she's divorced. وَمَتِّعُهُنَّ عَلَى الْمُوسِعِ قَدَرُهُ وَعَلَى الْمُقْتِرِ قَدَرُهُ. Then pertaining breastfeeding, فَإِن تَعَسَرْتُمْ فَسَتُرْضِعُ لَهُ أُخْرَى. If they don't come to an agreement as how much would she get, and he is disagreeing how much he's willing to pay, then hire somebody else to breastfeed the child. So yes, there is a mut'a, and now we understand the word mut'a means what? This is a financial support. Then the husband has to support his divorcee with during the iddah, or if she's pregnant, and if she's breastfeeding, and if she has children. The child support should be in proportion with his earning and with the custom life that similar people live in. Yani, if she belongs to a very rich family, it doesn't really matter if her father is a millionaire. We're not going to kill the guy or squeeze him to support her to live in the same level, because عَلَى الْمُوسِعِ قَدَرُ. If Allah provided him with plenty of rizq, then according in proportion with his earning, in proportion with his wealth. وَعَلَى الْمُقْتِرِ قَدَرُ. And if somebody's provision is restrained for him, so he is working hand to mouth, just give as much as you can. Well, the ayah is addressing the heart and the mind of men, and the heart and the mind of women. Why? Because in this case, a person like nowadays, in today's courts and in today's world, whenever a man divorces his wife, he forges papers and paperwork to present him to the court that he is poor, he's broke, he doesn't have a job, or get some papers from whatever job that he's earning is maybe 10%, a fraction of his actual earning. This is haram. وَمَتِّعُوهُنَّ عَلَى الْمُوسِعِ قَدَرُ وَعَلَى الْمُقْتِرِ قَدَرُ مَتَاعًا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ حَقًّا عَلَى الْمُحْسِنِينَ. If you are a good doer, if you fear Allah, if you know that He's watching you, you should do so. And the woman too may forge papers and paperwork and documents to show that he's earning that much in his positions which he doesn't have. I'm saying this from an experience, of course, so that the court would force him to pay that much money which he cannot afford. So neither this nor that. You're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at the beauty of the Quranic teaching. وَلَا تَنْسَوُا الْفَضْلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. You should not forget that one day you were husband and wife. You are a loving couple. You live together. And perhaps you have children hanging between you. It's not a war zone. Obviously, in a society where it doesn't believe in Allah and His Messenger and everything is a material, you see that men actually divorce their wives, or wives are filing for divorce in order to steal 50% of the husband's wealth, because maybe she's in love with another person or whatever. So she would take something which is not hers. Why do you take 50%? Because of the local law, but the divine law does not say so. This is his money. This is exactly similar in our Sharia, similar to stealing, because taking something which is not your right. A Muslim should comply with the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wherever he is living, here or there. Do not take anything which is not lawful to you. And do not prevent any person from taking the rights, even if the local law or the man-made law is on your side. Why? Because حَقًّا عَلَى الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Fear Allah and keep your duty to Him wheresoever you are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hello?
Sister Fatima from Nigeria.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Good evening, Sheikh.
Good evening.
Hello?
Go ahead, Sister Fatima, present your question, please.
Yeah, please. I want to find out if the son to my husband's brother can be my Muharram.
Okay, yes, your husband's son is a permanent mahram to you. Now, your husband's son is a permanent mahram to you, and this is mentioned in Surah An-Nisa pertaining al-muharramatu min an-nisa, or women who are eternally prohibited for a man to marry. The fathers, husbands, or the stepmothers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I am calling from KSA. My question is the meaning of name of Adnan. The name Adnan.
The name
What is the meaning
Adnan?
of Adnan name?
Adnan?
Adnan is Adnan. Adnan. And this name is good or not? Meaning of this name is good or not?
Okay, the name Adnan is good or not? Okay, Adnan, not Adnan, of course. Now, thank you, Aisha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Nisa, وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا مَا نَكَحَ آبَاؤُكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا قَدْ سَلَفَ. If your father is married, then his wife to you is like a stepmother. The Quran says it is not permissible ever to marry your stepmother, a woman whom your father married one day, whether he divorced her or he died on her. Before Islam, if a person would die, his son would take over his wealth and the women whom he was married to, other than his biological mother, of course. So the woman was deprived from even the right of inheritance, and she did not have control over her own self. She was not free. He would cast his thawb upon her, and now it's up to him. He can give her to another person in marriage. It's his. She's his. Or he can take her for himself. So she was none. She was nothing. She was not even considered as a human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed in the Quran, لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا اكْتَسَبُوا وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا اكْتَسَبْنَ. Men have right of what they earn. And women too have rights or share of what they have earned. And give each one their share, their proper share. So women have shares in the inheritance. And he mentioned in Surah An-Nisa that وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا مَا نَكَحَ آبَاؤُكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا قَدْ سَلَفَ. So you are pardoned for whatever happened in the past. But if somebody is married to his stepmother now, before the ayah was revealed, now you should let her go without divorce because there was no marriage. This was illegitimate. Exactly as when Surah An-Nisa stated that it is not permissible to keep more than 4 at a time. فانكحوا ما طاب لكم من النساء مثنى وثلاث ورباع فإن خفتم ألا تعدلوا فواحدة أو ما ملكت أيمانكم ذلك أدنى ألا تعولوا. In this case, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لغيلان, one of the people who accepted Islam with 10 women, divorce 6, or you can only keep 4, and the rest are not your wives. And it happened more than once. So Al-Quran came to correct wrong situations which were common before Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hello, alaikum salam, Sheikh.
Brother Ahmed from United Arab Emirates, welcome to Ask
Muhammad
Huda.
Sulaiman.
Ahmed Sulaiman, ahlan wa sahlan.
Yes, my question is about riba.
Naam,
In India, for example, we are depositing money in the bank.
naam.
So how will be our status? Because even being a witness for the riba deal, we will go to the hellfire.
Naam.
So please explain about this scenario.
طيب. بسم الله
And
الرحمن
one more
الرحيم.
question, whoever is working in commerce industry who is doing calculation about the riba interest.
Okay, I got a question, Brother Ahmed. Brother Ahmed is asking about people in India who have to deposit their money in a convention bank or convention banks. It is very obvious whenever there is no Islamic alternative or a place where you can save your money, especially if you have abundant wealth, it is permissible to keep it in any of these banks, and it is permissible to collect the interest, but it is not permissible to benefit out of it. So you must spend this wealth, you give it in a charity. It is not a charity though. You can pay it to an orphanage or towards building hospitals or whatever, and you may be rewarded for avoiding the haram and getting rid of it. But this is not a charity. This is not a sadaqah. Okay? So you collect it, but you do not keep it for yourself. You do not give it to your family members. You dispense it in a way that you should not keep it with you because it is a haram money. Sister Aisha asked about the word Adnan and whether it's a good name or not. Yes, it's a common Arabic name, and the word Adnan with the Ayn, not the A, means a person who's resident or inhabitant of a place. And he was the great-grandfather of the Arabic tribes who live in the northern peninsula from the time of Ismail, the son of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So it's a native Arabic name if you'd like to keep it though. Brother Zakaria from Iraq asked about his wife is willing to wear niqab, and he inquired about a ceremony. Is there a special ceremony to do so? No, of course not. If somebody wants to practice a faridah or a sharia, there's no ceremony for that. Every person should do that. So in this case, you should not hesitate right away. If she's interested in wearing niqab, and alhamdulillah, you're convinced this is something that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is required, do not hesitate without ceremony or anything like that. Buy the proper outfit, which would make her wearing a proper hijab, and put it on and keep it on. Barakallahu feekum. And now we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with you inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Islam is a comprehensive way of life. It deals with everything. The Prophet ﷺ wanted to empower people, and he wanted them to feel the responsibility, not just to rely on the state. That companions radiallahu ta'ala anhum, and in particular Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, in the beginning they were not pleased and they were not proud to become the Khalifa. These days we see the candidates running to become the Amirs. Islamic State has to provide all inhabitants with the basic needs. It has to fulfill their basic needs. One of the main foundations of the Islamic State is to establish justice.
Islamic Jeopardy.
Audience, viewers, are you guys ready for another round of Islamic Jeopardy? All right, let's go ahead and begin.
It's Islamic Jeopardy, the spirit of contributions for the sake of Allah. The exciting yet informative, it is Islamic Jeopardy. Join us on Islamic Jeopardy, the quiz show featuring trivia in fiqh, aqidah, history, poetry, riddles, science, Arabic, and other topics. When you love. The awaited halal fun is finally here. Praise Him every day.
Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله.
I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, alone without partner, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his slave and messenger. Muhammad, peace be upon him, our ultimate role model.
In a cave in Mount Hira, the revelation came. Read, O Muhammad, read in Allah's name. May the blessing...
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Satihu from Egypt asked about piercing the nose with a ring. Is it permissible? We say purification for women undergoes the customs of their locality. Like people who live in India, Muslims and non-Muslims. Muslim women, they consider piercing the nose is a part of their adornment, then it is permissible. And it also depends on what they hang from the piercing, what writing on it, what carving, and so on. And it is not for the purpose of worship, like a talisman or ta'weez or an amulet. But people who live in the Arab world, and it is not common, then women shouldn't do so. Okay? But piercing the ears, it has been mentioned in the Sunnah that the Prophet ﷺ, after encouraging women to give any charity, they have taken their earrings, bracelets, and anklets, and they started giving in donations. So that was an indication that their ears were pierced, or some of them at least had earrings which require ear piercing. This is pertaining piercing the ear, pertaining piercing the nose. It is a spot of purification or adornment for certain people. So if you belong to this culture and it's not strange there, it is permissible though. Sister Maria from Mauritius, she said, please explain the barzakh and what does it mean. Al-barzakh as a word has been mentioned in the Quran a few times. For instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about al-barzakh between the sea and the river, the salt and the fresh water. He said, بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخٌ لَا يَبْغِيَانِ. He said, مَرَجَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ لَا يَلْتَقِيَانِ بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخٌ لَا يَبْغِيَانِ. Surah Al-Rahman, very famous ayah. That the salt and the fresh water, if we have the sea and the river, and the water of both, there is no physical or seen barrier. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set a barrier that's not seen, so that the fresh water does not mingle or transgress against the salt water, nor the salt water transgresses against the fresh water. بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخٌ لَا يَبْغِيَانِ. So al-barzakh is something in between, al-hijab, or a stationary position between two things. I will continue inshallah after this phone call. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Asma from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum salam. Brother, kindly explain to me how do we make our intentions for prayer, for ablution, and for wudu.
Okay.
And then my second question, brother, is, soon as a lady hears the azan, can she stand for prayer, or should she completely hear the azan? That azan must be completed and then she should stand for prayer. Thank you very much, brother.
Okay, thank you, Sister Asma. Thank you so much. Sister Fatima from United Arab Emirates. Fatima, assalamu alaikum. Try again, please, Sister Fatima. Now, again, to al-barzakh. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَمِن وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ, which means beyond this life, there is something called barzakh, and it will continue until the day of resurrection. وَمِن وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ, to the day of resurrection. The Sunnah explained that whenever we die, we enter into al-barzakh immediately. So al-barzakh is the stationary condition between ad-dar al-dunya, the life of this world, and dar al-muqam, the everlasting life in the hereafter, whether in Jannah or in nar, wal-'iyadu billah. What's very distinguished between the three lives, in ad-dar al-dunya, the soul and the body are always together. Okay. In the hereafter, the soul and the body will be always together. In Hayat al-Barzakh, it is not always. Sometimes the soul will enter into the body and sometimes it will departed. And the torment or the joy will be for both the soul and the body, or the soul only. How? We'll explain. If a person happened to die in a plane crash and his body parts were spread everywhere, or turn into ashes, or decompose, or decayed, the soul is still there. It undergoes all the joy and the delight, or the punishment and the torment. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Ghafir, pertaining the hosts of the Pharaoh, He said that they were drowned. True. Their bodies were not taken out of the sea, only the Pharaoh. فَالْيَوْمَ نُنَجِّيكَ بِبَدَنِكَ لِتَكُونَ لِمَنْ خَلْفَكَ آيَةً. Then their bodies dissolved in water, maybe eaten by fish. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, النَّارُ يُعْرَضُونَ عَلَيْهَا غُدُوًّا وَعَشِيًّا ويوم تقوم الساعة أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب. By examining this ayah of Surah Ghafir, we realize that there is basically life right after death, and there is a reward or punishment. He said, Allah the Almighty said, pertaining to the host of the Pharaoh, they are being punished, exposed to the torment of fire. غدوا وعشية. غدوا morning, وعشية in the evening, يعني 24/7. Then, ويوم تقوم الساعة, the third life, on the day of judgment, when the day of resurrection starts, أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب. Allah will order His angels to admit the Pharaoh and his people into the worst or the severest torment. So they're being punished currently. Maybe they died thousands of years ago, 5,000, 7,000 years. And it's very interesting that this civilization, the Egyptian civilization, which people celebrate so much and brag about it so much, are the dwellers of fire. Allah is showing us this magnificent work of these people who do not deserve Allah's mercy because He bestowed upon them knowledge, power, capacity to build and construct whatever they left for us to see. Yet, Allah stated that they are from Ahl al-Nar. أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب. Let me continue again after this phone call. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ashraf from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
I
wanted to know the ruling on Salah Qasr. What is the distance, the duration, and if we are visiting our parents, like my parents live in India, I visit them, then do I pray Qasr for a week as I go there? And my other question is that if we go to Makkah from Dammam, and if we miss the congregation prayer in Makkah, in Haram, so do we pray Qasr if we are doing it by ourselves, or do we pray the whole prayer in Haram?
طيب. Thank you, Sister
That's
Ashraf.
my question. Thank you.
بارك الله فيك.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Fatima from United Arab Emirates, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam, Sheikh. I have just two questions to ask you.
Raise your voice, please.
Yeah, I have two questions to ask you, Sheikh.
Okay.
One is, can you recite Quran for dead people?
Can you recite Quran in front of people?
No. Alone, at home, like when I'm reciting, can I think of dead people and can I dedicate?
Can you recite the Quran and give the word to dead people? Okay.
Sorry, Sheikh, I cannot hear you. What?
Reciting the Quran for dead people. That's
dead
your
people,
question.
Yes.
Now, your
that
second
is one question. The other question is, Sheikh, I want to know. You see, we have to tradition. I know when we touch the Quran. Can we not? Is it mandatory for us to cover the head when we are reciting?
Okay, thank you, Sister Fatima. Brother Mustafa, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
I have a question about the subject of ghaiba. I wanted to ask a question. Like in Egypt today, there is politics and people talk a lot about politics. So I sometimes I tell my brothers about the opposition. I say names of persons, and then also they talk about Morsi and like the president. So is that a ghaiba? Because ghaiba is a major sin, I think so.
Okay, thank you. Jazakallah khair, Mustafa.
Khair.
Okay. By the way, it's called ghiba, not ghaiba. Okay? So ghaiba is absence. Ghiba is to speak ill about somebody in their absence. Okay? And al-ghiba is one of the major sins and destructive to the person who gets involved in talking ill about others in their absence. Inshallah, we'll cover this when I come to answer your question. Okay. So we learn now when we die, as you know, we used to hear in the movies that he's lying in rest or he's in heaven. This is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is if the person was a believer, but we don't know whether he was righteous or not. But for a disbeliever, how would he lie down in rest? His day of judgment have just started. This is when the soul will merge with the body once again. Once a person dies, and you know the series of how the angels of death will extract the soul with difficulty. If he was a disbeliever, take his soul, and it's very offensive, have a very offensive smell. Everybody in the heaven, so what this kind of offensive smell? It is the soul of so-and-so with his worst names. Then the doors of heaven, as-sama, would not be open for him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order them to write his name in the book of Sijjeen, the dwellers of fire, wal-'iyadu billah. So it will be thrown back to earth, and it will be instilled into the body. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send the two angels, Munkar wa Nakir. Very interesting. We know their names, we know that they're questioners, examiners, and we know the questions. Have we prepared an answer? Say, Man Rabbuk? Who's your Lord? Ma Dinuk? What's your faith? What's your belief? What's your religion? وَمَا تَقُولُ فِي الرَّجُلِ الَّذِي بُعِثَ فِيكُمْ? And what do you say concerning Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The kafir would answer, huh? That's it. He doesn't know an answer. Even though he will be said to Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, Okay. At that, his fate will be determined, and he will figure out that he will be from amongst the dwellers of fire. And in his grave there will be a window which opens directly to the fire of hell, where he can see his seat in it. So that person will say, when you say, or when we hear the hadith, that the person will say, which means the body and the soul are all together now. He will say, رَبِّ لَا تُقِمِ السَّاعَةِ أَبَدًا. My Lord, don't you ever establish the day of judgment. Why? Because he can tell. He sees his place in fire. While the believer, all of that in al-barzakh. We haven't been there, and we don't know physically what happens there, but we know for sure. Why? Because we believe in the unseen. يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. This is entirely unseen to us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us via the wahi to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam what happens in this barzakh. The believer, his soul will come back to the body after his name is written fi aliyin, and beautiful fragrances coming out of him. Angels would call him by his beautiful names that he used to like in the dunya, and he would answer the questions fluently, smoothly, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ وَيُضِلُّ اللَّهُ الظَّالِمِينَ وَيَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Then, nice looking man would appear to him in the grave, in al-barzakh. So the dead Muslim, the righteous person, would say to him, Man ant? Who are you? You have such a beautiful face. Your face is like the moon. What is this nice fragrance? Who are you? He wanted to know him. So this man would say, don't you recognize me? I am your deeds. I am your good deeds. Not just deeds. أَنَا عَمَلُكَ الصَّالِحِ. Then Allah will order the angels to open a window for him, where he can take a look at his seat in heaven, inshaAllah. So at that, the person will say, Rabbi aqim as-sa'a. Ya Rabb, make the day of judgment to be established now. I want the day of judgment to be established right now. Why? He's very excited and anxious to enter paradise. So al-barzakh is not a state of sleep or rest, always la. There's activities, as the Prophet ﷺ informed us about the barzakh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Fatima from Nigeria.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, I'm Fatima from Nigeria. I'm one of your ardent viewers. I want to make observation on what is happening in the Arab world. And I don't know whether there's explanation in the Quran or Hadith on it.
Sister Fatima,
I observe that
Sister
the
Fatima,
Arab countries
give me a
are
minute,
trying
please.
to, most especially the young ones.
Sister Fatima, do me a favor. Excuse me. You know, this program is designed to answer questions. We are not political analysts. And very rarely that we get involved in politics, because I believe if we correct our faith, our belief, and our aqeedah, everything would be straightened. So if I open the door to take analysis pertaining what's going on, then it will consume the time. I really prefer, with my due respect, to dedicate the time to learn about the deen. And if your observation is pertaining a religious practice or a correction of a religious practice, we'll be more than happy to take it, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, we lost Sister Fatima, but again, you're most welcome to call back in the light of the advice which I mentioned earlier. Sister Asiya, assalamu alaikum. Asiya from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, ya Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah, thank you for asking, Sister Asiya.
Sheikh, thank you very much for the last question you answered for me. Wallahi, I really understand the question I throw about Hadith Nabawi and Hadith Qudus. Because I was confused before. But when you give me the answer, I really appreciate the way I understand it very much.
Jazakillahu khairan. Thank you, Sister Asiya. Barakallahu fiki in any time.
About okay.
Okay.
Now I want to ask about haram and makruh.
Haram and makruh. Got your question, Sister Asiya. Okay. Thank you. Barakallahu fiki.
Any other reason?
Thank you, Sister Asiya. I got your question. The difference between the haram and the makruh. Sister Asma from United Arab Emirates said, how can I formulate the niyyah? And niyyah means an intention. In Arabic we say nuwa to the nucleus, or the seed, which is the core, the center of anything, of the fruits, for instance, of the atom, the nucleus. Okay. So a niyyah is what settles in the heart, in the core of the person. And a niyyah is between the person and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may be offering 4 rak'ahs. I don't know whether this is your fard or sunnah, or you're praying sincerely for Allah, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or to show off. That's why it's called niyyah. It is hidden and concealed. And in fact, the most famous hadith in this regard, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى. The hadith which represents 1/3 or 1/4 of the entire religious knowledge. And religious practices, deeds, the good deeds are by their intentions. So it means it is something that you don't have to pronounce it. You don't have to announce it, because it only concerns Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why for wudu, for tahara, for salah, for namaz, you don't have to utter the niyyah. You don't have to say, I intend to pray Asr 4 rak'ahs, or 4 rak'ahs for Dhuhr. To distinguish between these 4 rak'ahs for Dhuhr or Asr, or for Fard or Nafl. You have to formulate the niyyah, but you don't have to utter it. As a matter of fact, uttering the niyyah is an innovation. Because everything in the acts of worship we do, we are commanded to follow and not innovate. As far as when do you have to pray, is it permissible to pray once you hear the adhan, or you have to wait until you finish the adhan, then you start? This is for women who don't have to pray in the masjid in jama'ah. Okay. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when he was asked about the best deed, is as-salatu ala waqtiha, wa fi riwaya li waqtiha, to pray on time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. So there are fixed times for the 5 daily prayers. Once the time has entered, even if you don't hear the adhan, you're allowed to begin your prayer. Now, with regards to hearing the adhan, do I have to wait until the mu'adhin finishes? It is best to repeat after the mu'adhin until he finishes the adhan. Then you say the prescribed dua, because the Prophet ﷺ said in the sound hadith, which is collected by Al-Bukhari or Muslim, إِذَا سَمِعْتُمُ الْمُؤَذِّنَ فَقُولُوا مِثْلَ مَا يَقُولُ. Whenever you hear the mu'adhin, you should repeat after him and say exactly as he says. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Except when you come to say, when he says Hayya ala salah or Hayya ala al-falah, then you say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Then afterward you send the peace and the blessings on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and ask Allah for al-wasila to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ثم سلوا لي الوسيلة اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. Every Muslim should memorize this invocation. Why? Whoever does repeat the dua, after the mu'adhin and says this dua after the adhan, وجبت له شفاعتي or حلت له شفاعتي, which means he will be eligible for my intercession. Don't you think all of us are in desperate need for the intercession of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So do not miss this opportunity. It's maybe a minute or two. Repeat after the mu'adhin, say the dua, pray the two sunnahs if it is two or more, such as in dhuhr for rak'ahs or asr, then pray your fard. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم, and see you next time in peace.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I